Rastafari have rejected it outright because it's time when I realize that you can't come with a little licky and buy people. I remember same way when they made the offer with Mario Dean. They want to bury him. You kill him. And we are dealing with the issue of the rights of a citizen of this country. And you come now, want to pacify and think say everybody licky. You want to bury him. I do understand that there are some people in this country that cannot be bought. But you're not accustomed to buy the people in so much now. And keep party, I want to kill goat and give out rum. And the people run come vote for and I think everybody's like that. So it was a joy when the family of Mario Dean said, no, you kill him, I wouldn't want to send from one for burial. And brothers and sisters, we sent out the sound. And we got more than enough money to bury him. We also had funeral homes that come forward. Yes, Yale up little Lenny, great my brethren, came forward and said, Brother Miguel, if things come to shove, I will carry out the procession free of charge for the family. We had brothers and sisters that made that offer in that circumstances when they heard that our dignity come first. And same way the family of Nzinga, when Ministry of Culture is making that offer that says, no, we will not accept crumbs. Our dignity come first. You can imagine them want come make like an offer now because them hear us on the television should like to further her studies. We know, we black people know that once we send out the sound, if we want $10, $10,000, $10 million for her to continue her education, we the people will find it. So government, do the right thing. If you compensate the family for the indignity that you heap upon her, the indignity that you heap upon Rastafari, then you wouldn't have to come with the little crumbs from on the table. Have respect now, man. Have respect as we move forward. Yeah, man. Yep, my engineer. As we move forward here now. Huh? Yes. Yeah, man. Give thanks. Blessings, honor, dignity.
This is a musical thing, a serious thing for the people, you know. That's the sound of the rhythm, the sound of the road. This is man play no game. We don't play no game. That's the sound of the rhythm. That's the sound of the rules. That's the sound of the music that people get high to.
Number 2.
That's the sound of the
rhythm. Next year.
That's the sound of the rules. That's the sound of the music that people get high to. You gotta run down, turn your bass up to sound.
Next. No, but that one here. Number 2. Yeah, man.
Got to pull it together, bring tonight by the break. We want to ram till morning like tell my people we sing about truth and right. The sins a beautiful sight. Hold on, move to the light. Hold on, while the wind and run the rhythm right. Hold on, while the lights shining bright in the night. For the moment we run the land right. So majestic and be jumbo. This is when they don't get it. This is music gonna rock you to a higher plane. So majestic and be jumbo. Listen when they don't get it. This your music gonna rock you to a higher plane. Music hits us, you break a smile. Give the top me like a lightning strike. Feel it in the bass and you feel alright. Sweet, sweet song, angelic voice to fill the air. Painting pictures in your mind. Now you bring it down to the morning light. Open up a bubble piece of chocolate light. Guitar solos and it's games inside. Hear how the horns colorful and bright. It's becoming an original style. We're staying true to the roots all the while. Whoa. So majestic complete jumbles. This your man no games. This your music gonna rock you to a higher plane. So majestic complete jumbles. This your man no games. This your music gonna rock you to a higher plane. Well, we gonna cut you loose from your tension delight. Forget all your worries, troubles and strife. It's gonna be the music we make, elevate, meditate on the strike. It's like a tune, just move for its own delight. She won't be intimidating, fully open and sing another song. Send down to make our darkest light. Tell the evil to take care of us. People's like for this musical power, keep burning alright. Hold on, keep on, move to the light. Hold on, while the wind band run the rhythm right. Hold on, while the music cry out in the night. Before the moment we're up full and light. That's the sound of the rhythm. That's the sound of the roots. That's the sound of the music that people get high to. That's the sound of the rhythm. That's the sound of the roots. That's the sound of the music that people get high to.
Yeah, the other one to put the talk. Yeah, man. Today, the 15th of September, and we are coming to you strong and mighty from the studios of Best FM, Best 100 FM, 100.1, 100.3, 100.5, 100.7, 100.9. The program Bitter Sugar. Yes. Sugar can never be sweet for us, politically, economically, socially, and health-wise. I am your host and presenter, Brother Miguel Lorne, and we ask you to join us as we move through this experience from 6 to 10 o'clock. Give thanks, heal all brethren and sisters who standing up for rights, not those who hang around corners and criticize those who try to do something and find all sort of little nenge to say. No, warriors don't do that. Warriors always prepare for battle, and warriors prepare to support those who are carrying out the different battles.
Africans are the architects and builders of civilization. Informative instrument, explain to the nation. Africans inventors and their inventions. To know about them we need information. African inventors and their inventions. Listen to the informative instrument. Africans make paper, chess and alphabet. Father of medicine, they great emotive. Africans, we are the king of civilization. Aeroplane, popular, invent white chips. Black people know yourself and try to stand firm. Biscuit contaminated by APS burn. Make me see the animal last support them. LC daily inventive folding bill. Africans inventors and their inventions. To know about them we need information. Africans inventors and their inventions. Listen to the informative instrument. Watch it, each year my unit a small axe. E.G. Pepe invent the letterbox. Fit you up, fit you up, physical fit. LF Brown invent the ass wiggle bit. None of them are wrinkle up in another screw. Oscar E. Brown invent the ass shoe. And them create the sickness, but we have the cure. John A. Bush invent the lawnmower. Africans inventors and their inventions. Don't know about them, we need information. Africans inventors and their inventions. Listen to the informative history man. Listen history man and hear that one yeah. John Marksman invent the typewriter. Them say after storm, it must be a calm. R.A. Butler invention alarm. Who you think invent the peanut butter? It's a little black man here, J.W. Carver. None of them a laugh like them take it for joke. MC1 invent lotion and soap. Africans inventors and their inventions. Don't know about them, we need information. Africans inventors and their inventions. Listen to the informative history man. You need to study more about your ancestor. Alexander might invent the elevator. Black coats first when invent truths and right. Barrett Morgan invent the stoplight. Ancient Abyssinia, that is my home. Henry Sampson invent cellular phone. House abundant people run come here. Tom J. Marshall invent the extinguisher. J. Standard invent refrigerator. Paul E. Williams invent the helicopter. Black people are nothing to still don't know. Joseph Dixon invent piano. And some they get famous and be a bad superstar. Robert Jonah Fleming invent the guitar. Me champion the jack and me champion the beer. J.A. Winter invent the wheelchair. Granville Woods invent roller coaster. Telephone transmitter, fire escape letter. The incubators of the earth that Ethiopia. Life are being from in Mama Africa. Africans inventors and their inventions. Don't know about them, we need information. Africans inventors and their inventions. Listen to the informative history man. African inventors and their inventions. Don't know about them. Listen to the informative history man. Africans inventors and their inventions. Don't know about them, we need information. Africans inventors and their inventions. Listen to the informative history man. Africans inventors and their inventions. Don't know about them, we need information. Africans inventors and their inventions.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Mother, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Mother, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. I can still feel your pain in this commercial world. Life is an organized thing, and I'm still trying to find the tricks in the tricks. Oh yes, you're still having day and night red. Oh yes, you're still having day and night red. Mother, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Mother, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Where is the story? Give us the glory. In Egypt, we performed the first great surgery. I can still make us a great history. Mother, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Mother, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Historically, they've stealing from us, and we got to stop them now. I unite in Africa, I say, unite Africans all the way. A united Africa, I say. Unite Africans all the way. Oh yeah, oh yeah. A united Africa, I say. Mother, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Mother, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Tell them not to stop it, tell them. Tell them not Marley, tell them. Nelson Mandela, I tell them. Malcolm X, I tell them. Martin Luther King, I tell them. King Selassie, I tell them. A united Africa, I say. Unite Africans all the way. A united Africa, I say. Unite Africans all the way. A united Africa, I say. Unite Africans all the way.
It's better, but nothing beats. Rastafari. King Selassie and Empress Menen, divine motivator. I Selassie, I say, since nobody can interfere in the realm of God, we should tolerate and live side by side with those of other faiths. In the mystic tradition of the different religions, we have a remarkable unity of spirit. Whatever religion they may profess, they are spiritual kingsmen. Imagine this. If a thing isn't worth dying for, it isn't worth living for. No talk about King Selassie. Yes, no speak of the king from people in. Refused and cast out by many others. Rastafari. King Selassie and Empress Menen, divine motivator. I Selassie, I say, since nobody can interfere in the realm of God, we should tolerate and live side by side with those of other faiths. In the mystic tradition of the different religions, we have a remarkable unity of spirit. Whatever religion they may profess, they are spiritual kingsmen. Imagine this. If a thing isn't worth dying for, it isn't worth living for. No talk about King Selassie. Yes, no speak of the king from people in. Refused and cast out by many others. Propagandists by your own brothers. Rejecting the truth from spoken lips. But I am responsible. I have my responsibility. So all I know about King Selassie, I will speak it through poetry. Word clearing, massive century, 10,000 BC, tracking genealogy, king of kings, lord of lords, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of himself, his name King Alpha. In the mind, we always remember, 1930, the 2nd of November, I Selassie, I took the word of the coronation, father of the land, represent all man, great is he, come off the Trinity, and it was written and said, his name King Selassie. So don't use your ignorance to validate and oppress your reality. Use experience to define that. Rastafari.
You want Miguel one number 2, Mama Africa.
Yeah, just play actually it's on a feature something. I got to play now then.
Oh, yeah.
But I can just play though.
But it's all right. That means them get double.
Yeah.
100 on your dial. Keep listening. Ink Magazine presents The African Sledge with the single Mama Africa.
I can just play.
Yeah, man. Play that song after it.
Yeah, man, Tony done their talk, you know.
Oh.
For more information, call 765-409-9346 or 765-421-7991. The African Sledge gives you music with a powerful edge.
Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. I can still feel your pain in this commercial world. Life is an organized game, and I'm still trying to find the tricks in your tricks. Oh yes, you're still having day and night work. Oh yes, you're still having day and night rain. Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Where is the story? Give us the glory. In Egypt, we performed the first great surgery, and we're still makers of great history. Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Historically, they're stealing from us, and we got to stop them now. I unite in Africa, I say, unite Africans all the way. I unite in Africa, I say, unite Africans all the way. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I unite in Africa, I say, Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Mama Africa, I'm still 21,000 miles away from home. Tell them what Scotty, tell them. Tell them what Marley, tell them. Nelson Mandela, I tell them. Malcolm X, I tell them. Martin Luther King, I tell them. King Selassie, I tell them. I united Africa, I say. Unite Africans all the way. I unite in Africa, I say. Unite Africans all the way. I unite in Africa, I say. Unite Africans all the way.
All the way, all the way, all the way, brothers and sisters. You know, during this time, within this, some people call it pandemic, scramdemic, many different things. So, over time, some brothers and sisters get together and they organize a series of webinars. These webinars, brothers and sisters, are like Zoom meetings. You have conferences using the Zoom system because the brothers and sisters can travel all over the world. We always have all our conferences in different parts of the world. Some keep in Jamaica, some keep in the Eastern Caribbean. Barbados, St. Lucia, Antigua, many conferences. In fact, in the Caribbean, we have an organization named CRO, Caribbean Rastafari Organization. And we have had several meetings in Barbados, Dominica, St. Lucia, Antigua, Trinidad, St. Vincent, Grenada, quite a number of islands that we have had Caribbean Rastafari Organization meetings. And, but like I said, we can't travel that much now. And then also on the broader front, we have the yearly Rastafari meetings in Africa, in South Africa. We have had conferences in Chile, in South America, where Rastafarians from Brazil, Chile, Ecuador, Venezuela, Cuba, participate. Naturally, in places like Canada, United States, London, we've had several conferences over the years. But like I said now, because of the travel restrictions and the problems that gives, there was a series of seminars organized since last year, when this pandemic reared its ugly head. And quite a number of seminars and webinars were kept using the Zoom. And in many of these instances, hundreds of brothers and sisters from all over the globe participated in these reasoning. Well, out of these reasoning now, different ones call for different things. And some of the organizers of these webinars felt that if we start putting the calls together and start to tabulate them and put different things together so that we can now put out a document reflecting Rastafari. And so out of these reasonings came a document known as the Rastafari Universal Declaration. And with this document, this declaration starts out with the entire speech of His Imperial Majesty, that monumental and outstanding speech that he gave on May 25th, 1963 in Addis Ababa, relating when the formation of the Organization of African Unity. It was called then the OAU, Organization of African Unity, and it later transformed itself now to be called the AU, African Unity. I'm not in agreement with that because they were just merely following. In other words, you have the EU, European Unity, and the Africans, them not thinking, them come up with, say, you need AU, African Unity. I'm not in agreement with that. I still refer to it as the OAU, Organization of African Unity. And that outstanding speech, which His Majesty made on the 25th of May, 1963. Indeed, not the entire speech starts the document, not the entire speech, because that speech is a fairly brilliant and extended speech. So a substantial part of it forms the very beginning of this document, the Rastafari Universal Declaration. Now, starting with the speech of His Majesty, and then we have what is called a Rastafari Universal Declaration preamble, a preamble to the main aspect of the documentation. In the preamble, it says, whereas Rastafari is a contemporary manifestation of ancient civilization emerging from the Rift Valley region, carrying high forms of traditional and sacred knowledge through the Nile, which upheld the majestic glory of the Creator within I and I. A subsequent spring for Rastafari cosmology, which recognized the heights of humanity before Western presence. And whereas, when you say before Western presence, before the white man came to Africa, this high level of civilization that we had, that emerged out of the Nile Valley, the eastern part of Ethiopia, and that great civilization of which we have evidence of, and we have proof of, where the lions never used to eat human beings, and human beings never used to eat the lion. There's no need for either one to be looking to kill and eat the other. That's part of the preamble. I'll continue a little more of the preamble. It says here, whereas Africans endured brutal and inhumane trials and treatment at the hands of European powers and their cohorts for centuries, beginning with the worst crime against humanity, the transatlantic enslaved trade, depleting the continent's population while wreaking havoc on our heritage, culture, and spirituality. That's part of the preamble, my brothers and sisters. And I don't think any black man who is not a traitor to the race would have a difficulty overstanding or agreeing to a preamble of this nature. A preamble which starts with the Godhead, a preamble which traces that Godhead and come right forward, a preamble that also recognizes the setbacks that we have had as a result of that enslavement and participating in that horrible transatlantic trade. And whereas Rastafari was conceived as a response and in resistance to the Mahaafa is spelled M-A-A-F-A, and subsequent racialist and colonial systems that perpetuate brutal downpression historically and to date, the founders' clear intent and aspiration was to reclaim the stolen legacy of African minds. And whereas the visionary founding fathers of the Rastafari movement were downpressed brothers and sisters of integrity with limited resources and basic education, unlimited faith, fearless advocates of equal rights and justice, regularly imprisoned, detained in asylums, endured loss of life and livelihoods, endured other forms of persecution for declaring an African spiritual, physical, historic, and government within government identity. That's self-explanatory, brothers and sisters. Our founding fathers never went to high school. Many of them didn't even go to school. But they were able to give a philosophy to the world. They were able to overcome the brutalities, the baton blows, the locks up, the prisons, the asylums. And out of that has come the philosophy of Rastafari. And I'll continue with a little more of the preamble. Whereas the founding fathers declared the African ancestry and identity of Rastafari, sons and daughters professing the right to honor African heroes and sheroes, and praise a Black creator based on an African narrative and revelation, recognizing a Black supreme king and creator from the imperial dynasty of King Solomon and Queen Makeda of Saba, the liberator and comforter, a Baba Janoi of Africa, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie. And whereas the Rastafari movement, spiritually rooted in Africa and incubated in Jamaica in the early 20th century, as a profound Pan-African foundation with 4 basic tenets: liberation, redemption, repatriation, and reparations for African people, is distinguished and defined through spiritual, social, cultural, and economic dimensions, and as well as governmental engagement on various levels, including participation in political parties, running for office, or holding political posts. And whereas the tenets and culture of Rastafari has spread to Africans in the diaspora, influencing many 20th and 21st century Pan-African movements, European and Asian descendants are documented for disregarding, benefiting, commodifying, and approaching and appropriating of Rastafari culture and distinct ways of life, including ganja, ital living, and return to Africa ethos, amongst other definitive intellectual property, with no intrinsic or economic remunerations to Rastafari, which require a response for equity and justice. And whereas Rastafari liberty or way of life enshrines principles and best practices in regards to nature and the environment, health and well-being based on African traditions, equal rights and justice for all, promotion of Pan-African culture, access to education and elevation of consciousness, fair and equitable economic structures, and international relations based on morality. And whereas the roadmap of Rastafari has developed over the decades with equal and opposite attempts to derail and or recreate narratives which depart from early teachings, principles, and goals. And whereas, and it continues, brothers and sisters, and as time goes on, I will read more and more, because we have a section, as I said, which starts with Their Majesty. Then we have a section which we call the preamble. Then we have another section, to give you an idea, which we call the ideology. And other sections deal with social, other section deals with health, a section deal with education, Rastafari advocacy and government engagement, Rastafari economics, Rastafari culture and heritage, Rastafari Nyabingi Groundation, and so. So, this is what came out of the series of conferences, the webinars. And brothers and sisters, if I and I, Rastafari, cannot define Rastafari and stand and state what Rastafari is, who can? So like I said, when you have people catching around the corner and criticizing, they can tell you who them is, but I and I know how we stand, and we don't have to go telling people we are Rastafarians. All we have to do is define and state and move forward. But once you have people who have to tell you, well, he's Rasta, something is wrong. So, brothers and sisters, this is the Rastafari Anniversary Declaration. And let me tell you this. This document is very timely. Over the years, we have seen many cases in the Caribbean, in Canada, in the United States, in England, where the courts, the governments, administrators have called upon persons who are not Rastafarians to come and give evidence as to who is Rastafarian. For years, they would call upon people like Coral Yanni, who is an anthropologist based in Canada and who is not Rastafarian. She loves and she has written a lot about Rastafarian. She has done a lot in terms of with Rastafarians. But the bottom line is that she's not Rastafarian. Similarly, they have, and she's Caucasian. We also have Jake Somiak, who again has done tremendous research as an anthropologist on Rastafarians, and who have been called upon many times to define Rastafarians to different courts, different bodies, and so on. We have had communication from our African brothers and sisters. We have had communication from African judges who have asked Rastafarians to define Rastafarian so as to help them in their adjudication while sitting on the bench. So the call has come from far and wide. And if some of I and I decide to answer that call, we shouldn't be subject to all these little nenge, tear down people who are eating at your, biting at your skirt tail, and so on. Oh, stand up and declare who we are and what we stand for. And if I and I can't do that, then, you cannot. You could talk some more. If you can't defend and stand who you are, well, we are dreadlocks Rastafarians. That is the core of our tradition and our existence. Now, to give you an idea, brothers and sisters, of what we have in mind today in our program. And we hope we'll be able to get through a lot of it. As we push forward. Like I said, today, the 15th of September. Now, I want to heal up Brother Donovan Ogilvie. Donovan, that's my brethren that, trod onto the studio many times and assisted me greatly and helped me to co-host this program many nights. As I announced last week, he has lost his baby mother, his mother of 2 children. She recently passed, apparently from the COVID situation. And we want to heal him up. Her 2 daughters that were living with her, he has now taken on that responsibility to take care of both the 2 daughters. And we give thanks for that. He himself also wants to thank all those who provided him with support throughout this ordeal. Apparently his baby mother was buried last Sunday. So he wants to thank many persons who assisted him in different ways on that journey. We too would like to heal up Brother Donovan and say, stay strong, and you're going to find taking care of your 2 daughters. His daughters are, I think one is a teenager and one is a little bit older than a teenager, but you're going to find that it's nice. It's very nice, Little girls always have a special love for them daddy. So, yeah, man. Stand with your daughters. He has also asked that I heal up Brother Minty. Brother Minty from Kingston here, who's a regular listener to the program and always providing support and strength. So we want to heal up Brother Minty. We will, His Majesty made a very simple but great speech. And I'm now going to read from the Utterance Bible, which was given to me right here on this program by the brothers and sisters of the Peacemakers Association. And this section that I want to read says, Your Majesty, all of the writings in this Bible is the writings of His Imperial Majesty. And it says here, it's entitled at page 75 for those who have this Bible. It says here, it's entitled, Why Education? Simple. Her Majesty said, Why Education? W-H-Y, why education? In other words, why do we need education? And this is what Her Majesty says. However, our programs undertaken in the economic field for augmenting material welfare of our subjects has not made us forget that, according to the words of the Bible, man does not live by bread alone. We believe that the spiritual and moral welfare of our people is as important as their material well-being. Yeah, brothers and sisters, spiritual, moral, and all is just as important as your material well-being. Thus, it is that following the liberation of Ethiopia from the yoke of the enemy, we have devoted a very large part of our budget and national revenues for the establishment and development of schools. During the short period of 10 years, no less than 15 secondary schools, of which the last, the General Wingate School, was opened by ourselves this year and have been established directly as a result of our initiative and direction. The number of students enrolled in schools in Ethiopia has nearly tripled during that same period. Shortly, the university, the foundation stone of which we have laid, will be opened under our direction. We face with confidence the future of public instruction in Ethiopia. If we have made so many sacrifices for the education of our youth, it is because we are convinced that only through intellectual progress and universal education can Ethiopia come into its own and make its just contribution to the history of the peoples of the Middle East. We believe that from truth alone is born liberty, and that only an educated people can consider itself as really free and master of its fate. It is only with an educated people that representative and democratic organs of government can exercise their influence for national progress. The 11th and last verse. Our address from the throne, therefore, testifies to the importance which we attach to education, and at the same time to your role as representatives in the development and progress of our people. And this was said on November the 3rd, 1951. I think it was an address to the Parliament. So, brothers and sisters, why education? And the Majesty answers it quite well. And he says, we believe that from truth alone is born liberty, and that only an educated people can consider itself as really free and master of its fate. And therefore, when we say Jamaica cannot consider itself free, it cannot consider itself master of its fate, because the education policy which has been pursued from even before independence until now is to see how they can keep us as ignorant as possible, as dunce, as fool, because only then can you rule many of our people. And only then can you continue to give them money for them to run behind you, hang off on buses at election time, and to vote for you. Yes, a sensible people, a people who understand these nuances and these beggy type behavior that this government and the PNP and JLP governments have been protruding over the years, is one of dependence on them. So you listen many times to the people on the air, on TV and social media, we want to thank such and such. Edward Siaga died and you see them put, boys him develop this, that, this. Michael Manley died here. Is him develop that, this? What kind of foolishness? Develop what? But because they want you to continue the dependence syndrome on these people, they put them up now as saviors and people who give us this and give us that. Oh, wake up, my people. So we fully support Their Majesty when he says it's important to help our children to get a rounded education so that they don't have to be licky and run behind no politician and go beggy, and for no politician to send no message about them want to contribute to Nzinga's education to become a nurse, when we have the bigger issues before of rights and dignity of the human being. Yes. So, like we say now, I want you all to remember this book. I'd mentioned it more than a year ago. I would never really get to go into it the way that I'd wanted. That is the book, Caribbean Slavery in the Atlantic World, written by Sister Vereen Shepherd and Hilary Beckles. Caribbean Slavery in the Atlantic World. And we are asking persons to get a copy. We had been asking from then. We had checked with the publishers. I think it's Ian Randall Publishers here in Jamaica. But at the time when I checked with them, they didn't have a lot here in Jamaica. And they had planned to bring in some from abroad. So I haven't yet followed up with them to see if they have brought in and it's available. But I'm asking persons to make an attempt. Don't just depend upon me now to get a copy. Search, seek, and ye shall find. And some of you, your children, because I think at the Cape level, some of those children who do history use this book. Yes. So some of you might even have it in your house and don't know. But big book, it has 17 sections and different areas. I think it's a very good book. So like I said then, and I'm saying it now, we want in these 17 sections, we want 17 persons, each to choose a section that they are going to absorb. I don't just say read, absorb and understand it, and then it's going to present it on the air. You're going to give us a synopsis of what you have read. And then from that, we're going to ask you to write something about what you have read. So, those that are willing, you can call in and let us start. At the time when I made the first announcement, I think I had about 5 persons who had called in and said they're willing to take a section. Well, I remember about 2 or 3 of them. I will need to look back in my old book, but nevertheless, 17, and you all can call me on the year or off year. Can call me on the year. The numbers here are 619-1508, 279-8473, or you can call at my office 631-9207. 631-9207. But I want serious persons now to really make us analyze this book and to ensure that we overstand some of the very things that have plagued us over the years. Nice. Later on in the program now, I'll also be speaking with Brother Joseph Pattison. He's the leader of a new party which has come on the scene. And they will be having a march on the 22nd of September. So we want to talk to Brother Joseph Pattison about that march. I'll also be speaking with Sister Mitzi Mitchell. Miss Mitchell was the one who was videoing, took out her phone, brave, bold sister, and was videoing when the police was beating Chris and Swaby at the Maypen Market. And Mitzi Mitchell will tell you what she has gone through because she's standing up for equal rights and justice. So, many of you just talk, you think, say that can bring equal rights and justice? Also, a little more in the program, we'll be speaking with my brilliant and outstanding mind, Brother Wayne Rose. The last time we spoke to Brother Wayne Rose, he was in St. Lucia. He has now slipped over to the United States, and he'll be back in St. Lucia shortly, I understand, because Brother Wayne Rose, along with Honorable Priest Kailash of the Bobo Shanti Ethiopia Black International Faith Congress, Brother Wayne Rose has been working with Priest Kailash and others over there in St. Lucia as they prepare for the 130th anniversary, which is next year, of the High Majesty coming up on this earth. So we're going to speak to Brother Wayne Rose. We spoke to him a few months ago, and he's going to give us an update. And we had promised that from time to time we'll be speaking to both himself and Honorable Priest Kailash to see what progress they are making, what path they're taking, what work they're doing, and so forth. So we give thanks. We always love to talk to the workers, brothers and sisters who are out in the field, in the domain, upon the earth, carrying out the works of His Majesty. Not those who just sit down and talk, and look around and find things to criticize and don't build nothing. That is the thing, brothers and sisters. Those who build, yes, we must acknowledge and recognize them, because the builder, for everything that them build, is greater than 1,000 words that is spoken. Then now, so like I said, we're going to be speaking with Mitzi Mitchell, Brother Wayne Rose, Honorable Priest Kailash. The 11th of September, Ethiopian New Year, yes. So there are persons who celebrated. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church here had a function, and there are many brothers and sisters. There's a Nyabingi going on now up in Malvern, yes. I know Brother IFV is gone up there, Brother Earthquake and others, and other brethren that have gone up there. So they have gone to the Ayabingi to commemorate and celebrate the Ethiopian New Year, which now in Ethiopia, it would be September, but I don't call it September. But the year would be 2014. Yes. Ethiopian calendar is 7 years behind the Julian calendar, which we use. Julian Romanic calendar. So the Ethiopian calendar now is 2014 in Ethiopia. We're gonna play a tape. We're gonna play an excerpt because one of my great heroes, and I thank Brother Raseko Tafari and others who sent me this clipping, because sometimes, the social media can have valuable input to life. And I've gotten this wonderful film. We have it on video, but because you all are on the radio, it's just equally nice to listen to. But it's this youth that I've mentioned many times on my program, of which I regard as one of the great heroes. A youth named Solomon Malango. Solomon Malango. Brilliant young man. And for years I have read that when his mother went to him, they had sentenced him to hang, the court in South Africa. And when his mother went to see him last, and he said to her, "Mama, don't cry. My blood will water this earth." I have it right here. I'm going to get the exact quote. "From which freedom will spring. Don't cry, Mama." That time he was 19 years old. And when a 19-year-old think that way, I tell you, man, it moved me. Brilliant. So don't forget him name, Solomon Malango. Name your children after him. Recognize him, heal him. Brilliant youth. But what has come to me now is his statement in the courthouse. When the white judges said to him, "Do you have anything to say before the sentence of this court is passed upon you?" And I'm going to play exactly what he said to the judge. And I tell you, my people, you're going to be moved to tears when you hear this young man in a white man's court in South Africa before white judges and what he told them as his last and final speech before they sent him off and executed him and hung him. Solomon Malango. I also want you to remember one of the great and outstanding researchers, Runoko Rashidi. Runoko Rashidi, who recently joined the Ancestors. Runoko Rashidi is special, unique. He has written many books. I've had the honor of meeting him on more than one occasion. IRFM brought him in for Marcus Garvey days, and he came, and you wouldn't believe, one of the greatest minds, so humble. Well, Runoko Rashidi is famous for traveling the globe, traveling the world. And he entitles his travels as The Search for the African Presence. Search for the African Presence. And he goes into some places that bring to us. When he goes into places like Peru, Ecuador, all these places, China, and show the influence of the African presence in these places, that when he went to China and stated that the Chinese come from Africans, Boy, him lucky him to come out alive. I tell you, lucky him come out alive because China think them different from everybody. No matter if them go on and think. So I tell him, lucky him come out alive. But now we have Chinese scientists in China making bold and brilliant statements and telling the Chinese and telling the world that the Chinese came from the Africans. So when Ranuka Rashidi said it, like I tell him, they nearly take off him head. Oh dear, he come from Africa? You must say, man. God, everybody think them brighter than the African. You know? Everybody think them have a civilization higher than the Africans. And everybody, the white man, well, him even worse than everybody else, but him think so. Him worse than anybody else. Because when we were building cities in Mali, Songhai, Timbuktu, great seats of learning, when we were building universities, the white man was still living in caves. He never knew how to build houses. He never knew how to build churches. He never knew the principles of architecture, brothers and sisters. I mean, I put down nobody, but these are the reality and the facts. He never even know how to cook. He never know how to cook. He never know how to make clothes. When we were yarning wool and silk and making our shamas and our great dresses and all these things, and trading with China and all these other countries, he was still in backwoods wearing animal skin. Never know if he make clothes, never understand what clothes is. Oh, barbaric. When we were building pyramids and building aqueducts to carry water and so on, and building obelisks that where we could state our history on these obelisks, so important that even until this day, some of the writings on some of the obelisks in Ethiopia and in Sudan have not yet been deciphered. In other words, modern man don't understand it yet. And some of them, with the Italians feel they understand. They stole, the obelisk is made out of stone, brothers and sisters. It's like a needle, a big needle that goes up higher than where you see the man in a pole vault over now, in a pole vault. But on it is inscribed certain writings. And when Italy invaded Ethiopia, they stole one of them and carried it, go to Rome, go erect it. When their Majesty went back to Ethiopia, that was one of them first demands, not a request, demand that obelisk must come back to Ethiopia. And it took years. The Italians them beat around the bush. Them do all sort of things, didn't want to return it to Ethiopia. But eventually, it was shipped back to Ethiopia, brothers and sisters. So Ranuka Rashidi, he has, I don't know country where he go. Siberia, Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, man, him go all up of them place there and go find the African presence in those places. I mean, I talk like him just go there and just talk to two people and him come back and say that him go do him research, him go do him digging, him go read up, him do him anthropological work. Wow, brilliant, brilliant. You all can look him up and so on. I'll have to try to get some of his books once more and so forth, you know. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to ask you to, those who have sacred spaces for ganja, sacred spaces, spaces where brothers gather and reason and burn them chalice and draw them herbs. They're calling those sacred spaces. So there's an organization named Ragga, R-A-G-G-A, Ragga. You can look them up on the internet. Brother First Man, Marcus Goff, Sister Mitzi, and others are part of that organization. And they are now putting together a comprehensive list of sacred spaces to send to the Ministry of Justice, to send to the government, because we want to say to them, look, we have a right as Rastafarians to enjoy our peace and quiet in our sacred spaces. We have been agitating for that for years, brothers and sisters. And that agitation continue. And the Ministry of Justice now have asked that Rastafarians submit a list of sacred spaces. So if you have anywhere where you and your brethren and sisters sit in and read evening time and draw your chalice, again, you can call me. Or better still, you can call First Man. I should have his number somewhere around here. You can call First Man and identify your sacred spaces that he can put it on the list. So brothers and sisters, let's go and see how much we can achieve on this program of bitter sugar.
One next feature at 9, yeah?
Huh?
One next feature at 9.
9?
Consider, yeah.
9, we reach 9 yet?
No, so tell us about the next feature at 9.
Okay.
So make you know.
Yes. Now we'll go up to 8 now.
Yeah, but so make you know from early.
Yes.
Cause when the road is fall, Babylon they might go fall. Most my children must enter. Oh yeah, oh yes, oh yes. When the road is fall, Babylon they might go fall. Most my children must enter. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So stop the fussing and the fighting. Love and unity is strength. Let us start with the right thing. Caring together and share. Yes. On that dreadful day, according to your works, you gon' get your pay. Most likely Selassie will clear the way. So I have burned Babylon from the beginning until eternity. Because when the road is full, Babylon they might go fall. Most thy children must stand tall. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When the road is full, Babylon they might go fall. Most thy children must stand tall. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Me tell the people don't let go. Oh my people don't let go. Tell the people don't let go. Don't let go. Tell the people don't let go. Say, oh my people don't let go. The black people don't let go. Don't let go. The black come on, we not let go. Warriors don't let go. Cause we never get weary. No, 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 no. When the road is all up,
And then drop the one.
the land they might go fall.
Number 1.
Most my children must stand tall. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When the road is all up, Babylon they might go fall. Most my children must stand tall.
Paper, then. It's paper.
Yeah. So stop the fussing and the fighting. Love and unity is strength. Let us start with the right thing. Caring together and a share. Yes. On that dreadful day, according to your works, you gon' get your pay. From the most high, when the road is gone up, Babylon they might go fall. Most my children must stand tall. Oh yeah, oh yes, oh yes. When the road is called up, Babylon they might go fall. Most thy children must
I didn't want to
stand
stump
tall.
on his chair.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To them people that quarantine to
I'm
ride.
stopping to on this one.
Yeah, come to organize it.
Armageddon style. Give them the Armageddon style. Armageddon, 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 Armageddon. We are gonna give them the Armageddon style.
Yes, that's Sister Thunderous. Nice, cool. Yeah, man. I should make it quite clear. You know, when the roll is called up yonder, I and I will be there. Yes, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Nice. From one queen now we move to Princess Love. This is a sister who has won many gold medals with her numerous wines and different wines that she make. Yes. Princess Love.
Praise to Emperor Selassie the First and Empress Medinai. This is Princess Love. Come on, my thugs. Say no to drugs. Come on, my people, let me hear it say. Shout, my people, let me hear it say. I want to hear my people say. I want to know my people say. Come on, my people, let me hear it say. Shout, my people, let me hear it say. I want to hear my people say. I want to know my people ain't taking no drugs. You don't need heroin, don't need no crack. Gotta take good care of this.
Get on the line for me. Get on the line. Just... Hey, rum is a drug too, you know. Rum is a drug. No different from coke and them other things. So rum, and I notice a whole heap of brothers and some sisters too, I drink a lot of rum. Rum, that is a drug also. So when we say no to drugs, no to rum.
People let me hear me say. I want to hear my people say. I want to know my people ain't taking no drugs. Now you sniff cocaine, blow your brain, drive you insane. Now you feel the pain, you won't the pain. Say no to drugs. So much confusion. So what's the solution? Tell me what you got. Up and down the street, trappers and the bags, moving on the subway. So yeah, keep it rocks. The people put the fire on top. Come on, my dogs. Don't do that. Say no to drugs. Don't push the dope. Stay away from
Number 10
drugs.
next year. Number
Take
10
away
on
my
this.
money and
Number 10 on this. The next song. I'm going to talk and then the next one and then.
The person is holding now.
Eh?
The person is holding.
Yeah, oh yes, all right.
They all suspect you. Come on, sir. Say no.
All right, thank you, dear Princess Love, telling them no to all those drugs, including rum and all them alcohol. Turn your head into all sort of zombie-type behavior. Yes, greetings and blessings. Welcome, Sister Mitzi Mitchell. Greetings and blessings. Give thanks, my sister, give thanks. Now, Sister Mitzi Mitchell, we are honored to have you on our program because you had gone to the market simply to buy provisions. Isn't that so? You had just gone simple and little did you know now that you will be required to stand up internationally as this program goes all over the world. Yes, all over. But we want to congratulate and recommend and support your bravery. Because not only did you witness an incident, but you decide to record it. Take out your camera and decide to record it. What you saw. Tell us what you saw that caused you to feel that it was something worthy for recording. Oh, I see. One day after your birthday, August 21st. I see. So you'll never forget this day. Mm-hmm.
And was told that I could not eat any meat. So that's the reason why I even end up at the market in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Upon reaching the market, the rain was falling, so I was sheltering under a stalk. Right then and there, the rain dribbled down, and I saw a Hilux vehicle speeding around at the post office, right at the market entrance, and stopped right in the middle of the road. Then I caught three policemen alighted, and they started to accost the vendors who were selling on the side of the road. Upon seeing that, the people, which is the vendors and persons shopping, started to cry out. And they say, no man, it's lockdown time. It's going to be lockdown in a few. And the people have goods that are perishable. Let them sell it. You understand me? And right then and there, the police let go the gentleman's car that they were going for. And immediately a lady across from them, who was standing there, was saying to them, let us sell, man. The thing, the lockdown to come, and we want to sell. And the policeman looked at her and said, go where's your mom? No, remember the rain is falling. But this lady immediately took her kerchief to tie around her face and it sprang over her foot and grabbed her in the chest, just like that. And by this time, another policeman just walked across and started to grab up the lady as well. By this time, he's grabbing her across the food items that is on the road that she was selling. And she grabbed onto him, and that's how she held on to his hand. And let me tell you something. I saw this tall, dark policeman just snap something from his waist. And I said, no man, this is who is this? And I immediately started to take out my phone. By this time, he flashed the object and it became a long metal bottle in his hand. And he started to hit the lady. And while he's hitting her, the other two policemen dragging the woman on the road. And that's when I started to record. Now to turn her back to one, and he has his hand around her waist. The other one is dragging her by the other side. And this big black policeman is trying to still hit her on her foot with the bottle. And she grabbed the bottle in her hand, and he proceeded to ring up the ladies and the vendors' hand.
as easy as that. A citizen standing on the side, no threat to them, no weapon being used except your mouth, blasting them and calling out murder, and they came and pepper sprayed you.
No indecent language, nothing of the sort. Just to say she's a woman and you're wicked, and how can you be pleasing a woman, somebody's mother, somebody's wife, somebody's aunt, somebody's child like that?
3 policemen.
Men,
I thanks for the correction. Men. It was men, yes. Couldn't be man. Men.
and 3 policemen.
Yes, men. And no, you did that and you videoed it. And if I'm not mistaken, some of your video came on the television. Is that so?
Yes, it is. What happened after I went to the hospital and I realized they were constructing a story to put against the lady.
Mhm.
Because I was there silent against them also at the hospital, hearing them telling her, oh, you're not going to tell any lies on me and you bite me and this and that. And I said, if you are trying to strangle a woman to death, what else can the woman do to defend herself? Come on now, she can't breathe. And you're dragging the woman back and forth like that. No, I think that's ridiculous. And then immediately after that, I realized that this policeman didn't even realize that I was the one who was afraid. He
Mm.
didn't even realize. And when I called the cleaner company at the time, I gave the lady, the reporter, the story. And I told her exactly what happened. And I sent her my video. And I decided that I'm going to go public with every media that will take the story. Because it is too obvious that we're seeing police brutalizing women and torturing them like this.
And
Especially in Mayfair.
especially in Mayfield. And this happened on the 21st of August.
The 21st of August.
And today is the 15th of September.
Yes.
And we have a minister of culture and gender and all these things, and not a word from that ministry. Not a word from that ministry. That a woman is being brutalized and beaten, and these people go in parliament and talk about gender-based violence.
And that leads me to ask Mr. Miguel, and I'm
Yes.
looking over my medium on Facebook. If our husband beats us, because I am also married, and so is Mrs. Taylor. If our husband beats us, we can go to the station and get them locked up. If our mother's father beats us, we can do the same. If our boyfriend, if anybody on the road beats us up, we can go to the police and we can lock them up. Why is it that when 3 policemen are beating women, where is their aunt grabbing them up in the back of their clothes like prisoner men and taking them to the station? Who is it that they can do this to women and nothing comes out of it? As a matter of fact, I'll give you better joke. After the superintendent went on here and said, oh, nobody came in to make a report. I went in 4 days after to make a report about the incident, and I was charged. The policeman saw me at the sergeant calling. I told him I'm here to make a report against him, and he cautioned me that I'm being arrested.
Hold on now, hold on. You went, you hear the inspector say, nobody not make no report. And you got to know to make a report. And the inspector called the policeman. The sergeant. Call the policeman and tell him that you are there to make a report against him. And them turn around, now charge you. Yes.
I'm cautioning you. You're being arrested.
4 days later.
Yes.
Yes. citizens of this country, when we speak, so many of you might say, boy, it's Rasta talk, or it's people who like police, or it's people who like government, or people. But here it is. As a citizen is being beaten and brutalized, another citizen witnessed the incident, taped some of the incident, goes to the station to make a report, and that the sergeant now called the officer. Now, something is going to have to be done, Not maybe. Yes. Do you know the name of the sergeant who was taking your statement? Jackson. And the officer that has charged you, what is his name?
His name is Mr.
Chandrilla. Chandrilla. Oh, that's the one who broke her hand,
Yes, so that's the same one.
Who broke her hand?
Just the Monday here, Mr. Sept, I think it's one of the other officers.
Yes.
Took a summons to the lady's house while she was in the hospital undergoing surgery.
Yes. Odane Hudson is. Yes, that's Odane Hudson. Yes. Yes, I think it's about a day or two ago, or yesterday, or it's today. Odane Hudson. But hear this now. The CM3 policeman drive go at her house and leave a summons saying that she assault Odane Hudson. No, they should have been on some interdiction. They should have been on some suspension, because that is part of their intimidatory tactics. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I looked at him, I looked him in the eyes, because this is one citizen he will never get to intimidate, because I'm not running. I have done nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm really hoping that Babsy Grange, whether she hear it directly or indirectly, is hearing this, And I hope some of you who's hearing it, tape it, and some of you who is close to her, send it to her, that she hear the citizens cry and hear and understand these things that are happening out there on the streets. I hope you all send it to Chan, the Minister of National Security. I hope you tape it and send it to Chuck, the Minister of Justice. Nobody send it to the Prime Minister. Him is lame duck. Him is lame ducking, so lame ducking. You wonder if him understand what it like to be a man. But I'm saying it to him. Anybody we can go drink soup with Trump, you know, so them now no morals, now no dignity. Go on a Trump yard, go and drink soup with him. A man who refer to black people in the most racist term. And you go and sit down and drink soup with him. Now, Miss Mitchell, when are you due to go to court?
I'm due in court on October 7th.
Oh, them put it far, is them tactics that, you know. Put it far, man. Hoping that the heat will cool down. And what have they charged you for?
They have charged me with obstructing an officer in his line of duty.
Obstructing an officer in his line of duty. I think it is incumbent, having listened to you tonight, it is incumbent upon me to write to the Director of Public Prosecution, Ms. Paula Lorne, because she has the power to stop, continue, modify any prosecution in this country. And I am certainly going to get a copy of your testimony tonight and send to her, to the Director of Public Prosecution, and ask her to deal with this prosecution in a manner that I know she knows how to do, because she can stop any prosecution in this country. I'm also going to send a copy to the Attorney General of Jamaica. She's a woman, but I really don't know what kind of woman she is. Because when you have an Attorney General can come and instruct her lawyers in her department to oppose an application that was before the court with regards to the Virgo matter, and that's St. Catherine's School, you wonder what type of woman is that Attorney General. But it's not so much she, it is more the office, that we have to make her understand what goes on, and that you went to make a report, and this is your reward. Yes, Ms. Mitchell? So we're just listen to this as another talk show. We have so much talk shows in Jamaica now. You know, the phone companies, when they came and invested in Jamaica, they must have said, "Boy, hallelujah! Gonna make so much money because so much talking." But we're going to act upon what you have said, Mama, and we're going to be keeping in touch with you, because you have brought the spirit of Nanny to us. You have brought that spirit right back to many of us who have listened. And we want to tell you, stay strong. Those days of intimidation and fear are over. Because clearly, you know this thing better than I do. You know this thing better than most people do, having been the vice president of that youth club over there in Ocherius. So you're enjoying the vegetables now? You have to be eating ital now, eh?
Well, let me tell you something. First and foremost, I want to thank you for this forum.
Yes.
For me to express my dismay, my anger, my wrath, my anxiety, my anxiousness, and most of all, my frustration at the injustice system. And how it is registered to us at all given times that the police are here to reassure us. They're here to protect us and they're here to serve us. And I've yet to see that as a returning resident, and I've left my country for over 8.5 years. I get back to my doctor.
We too are hoping and saying I'm confident that the more natural you eat, gradually, you will be fit and strong. Absolutely. You know, I'll just tell the listeners that when I first spoke to you, I had to ask you how old you are. I'm not going to disclose that on the air, but I had to ask you. And you laugh because you said, you knew exactly why I asked the question. Because, of course, your voice is so much younger than your age. Yes. So you were not surprised that I asked, But I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to working with you. And I look forward for us to stand for justice, for truth, for the rights and dignity. Paul Bogle gave his life. Samuel Sharp, General Ruler Samuel Sharp, gave his life. Taki gave his life. These outstanding leaders gave their lives so that we could have certain dignity. And to see now it is being eroded at the hands of our very same black people who are now working on behalf of the enemy against us. So I really thank you. And as we go along, we'll keep in touch. And we ask that you nevertheless stay wise. You eventually gave a statement to Indicom.
Yes, I did. I spoke with Mr. Reed, who is such a very, I'm telling you, she's such a patient woman, and she's working seriously with us to get this matter dealt with. I actually also spoke with Ms. Campbell from the victims unit. I really need to give her a shout out. She has been calling us, me and Mrs. Taylor, making sure that we could express ourselves to her, tell us how we really feel. We want to figure out. We got calls from the office of the public defense. We got calls from them. We got calls from lawyers. We got calls from a lot of other persons reaching out to us, giving their support. And we just want to thank them. We just want to thank them from the bottom of our heart for the help, the support, the kind words, the rallying, and the encouragement.
It goes to show that I think I can safely say that the majority of people in this country is vexed when things like this happen. And especially when we realize that it can happen to any one of us.
That is my point.
This can happen to any one of us. Yes. I really thank you for joining us. And we're going to keep in touch. And we're going to be standing up to make sure that justice prevails in this and every single matter like this. Thanks a lot, Ms. Mitchell, and we'll keep in touch with you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks to your fans for listening to me. And I just encourage you to continue to bring the word of strength and power to the Black nation, because no matter what happens, we need someone, somewhere, a voice crying out for us. We the helpless, we the persons who cannot bear to see what is happening, but we cannot help ourselves in circumstances. We just have to continue to do the wondrous work you're doing. Big up to everybody.
Give thanks, blessings and honor. One love. Yes. Yes, there you have it, brothers and sisters. Mitzi Mitchell. She speaks her mind freely. Very poignant, very powerful, and with a lot of emotion and with a lot of heart. And we're asking all our listeners, let's stand with her. Stand with her one way or the other as we go along. We must stand with her as we go along.
It's No matter with no ignorancy. Keep your integrity. That's why you try with militancy. Hey, militancy. No matter with no ignorancy. Keep your integrity. That's why you keep your militancy. Now it's not no time for wrong. Now it's the time for you chat militant. Go for everything you want. Hey, I'm not trying to say you can't, yo. Don't have to steal, don't have to borrow. Don't have to go share anymore. Don't have to cause anyone sorrow. Just get up and go, cause militancy. No matter with no ignorancy. Keep your integrity. That's why we say militancy. Wow, militancy. No matter with no ignorancy. Keep your integrity. No matter with no. When I say militant, that don't mean military. It means that you always try to be the best of your ability. And I have no one to know, never struggle. You stand up for what is right, try to live peace in the other side. Oh, militancy, no matter with no ignorancy. Keep your integrity. That's why we say militancy. Militancy. No matter with no ignorancy. Keep your integrity. Don't step on your dignity. No. Stand like a soldier in a army. Be independent, now when they take the liberty, people are quick to judge, hey. Some of them not have no love, whoa. And they do you wrong, but still don't have.
Next song, number 8. Yes, number 8. It's actually wrong CD in this thing. Yeah, man, the man himself, Mikey General. And I want to strengthen Mikey General. He is one of the few artists that at many functions, when it come on to the black struggle, when it come on for the struggle of equal rights, when it comes on for the struggle of dignity, the struggle for justice, the struggle for ganja and all of that, Mikey General is always there. One of the few artists that makes his point of duty to fully support the struggle. Many sing about it, many talk about it, and so on. But you don't see them. You don't see them, brothers and sisters. Yeah, man. Enough of them love watch them visa. Them don't want it cancelled, so them don't turn up anything to come block the sound. So, if them even mess upon them take it because no militancy. But, Mikey General, we want to heal up the man because we see the man stand up. Few brothers and sisters we have like that, especially those in the musical fraternity. I don't like to talk about the entertainment because, you know, clowns entertain. Brothers and sisters who stand up in the struggle are not entertainers. So we give thanks, Mikey General, for his militancy.
There'll be no mercy for the merciless. I know.
Number 8,
Mercy for
8.
they're taking advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I will
Right.
you get the promotion.
Yeah, the man himself says they're taking advantage. When you just hear Mitzi Mitchell, you must say that to yourself. Taking advantage of the underprivileged. Yes. Yeah, man. I should. Yeah, man, I find the passage that I was searching for when Solomon Malangu is spelled Mahlangu, and when his mother went to visit him in 1979 in the South African prisons, this is what he told his mother. My blood will nourish the tree which will bear fruits of freedom. Tell my people that I love them and that they must continue the struggle. Do not worry about me, but about those who are suffering. A 19-year-old youth saying that to his mother. Yeah.
Ooh, they're taking advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. It may be long, but not forever. You'll get nowhere in your foolish endeavor. Remember, your words shall be your evidence. Just watching you come across the page, taking advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage, taking advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Oh Lord, yeah. Fret not yourself because of evildoers. Yet a little while and there shall be no more. Get your strength from one who's got the power. I know you overcome and that I'm sure. Taking advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Everyone is looking out for themselves. For no care about no one else. Work your tricks by giving a little, only to deceive you. Then break your poor little heart in two. You're taking advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Taking advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Advantage of the underprivileged.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
One second, hold on. See, I'll tell you somebody.
There'll be no mercy for the
Somebody that mentioned a while ago. I'm not sure what she's talking. It's a lady on the phone. She just want to repeat a name that you mentioned.
Greetings. Yes. Solomon Malangu. Mahlangu. Yes, Mahlangu. Mahlangu. Solomon Mahlangu. Okay. Very good. Right, who wants to play something after this?
Wheresoever you go throughout the world, the black man is discarded, is ostracized, is relegated to the lowest of things. Social, political, and economic. Yes, they was.
It may be long, but not forever. You'll get nowhere in your foolish endeavor. Remember, your words shall be your evidence. Just watching you from across the way.
I want to erase what the bottom part is.
Too long living in bondage, taking advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Advantage of the underprivileged. Too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Oh Lord.
Wheresoever you go throughout the world, the black man is discarded, is ostracized, is relegated.
Hurt not yourself because of evildoers. Yet a little while and they shall be no more. Get your strength from one who's got the power. I know you'll overcome and have that, I'm sure. Taking advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Advantage of the underprivileged, too long living in bondage. Advantage of the situation. I work, you get the promotion. Everyone is looking out for themselves. Oh no, you care about no one else.
What play the people? See people.
And then this.
And then you play the people.
Alright.
Yes.
They break your poor little heart in two. They're taking
Yes.
advantage.
Put something on the put in there.
Yeah, man.
Beaker number one. Yeah?
Yeah.
And as soon as the beaker finish with it, just get it. Good.
I work, you get the promotion.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
The station with the
Beaker was one.
best music.
Beaker was one.
Best music.
It was struck one, right?
Struck one, yes, beaker. Yeah.
September 77, Port Elizabeth, where the fire. It was business as usual in police room 619.
The God who created the sun. These are the words of Bookman as he rallied his people to take up arms to fight in 1791 in the Haitian Revolution. The God who created the sun which gives us light, who rouses the waves and rules the storm. Though hidden in the clouds, he watches us. He sees all that the white man does. The God of the white man inspires him with crime, but our God calls upon us to do good works. Our God, who is good to us, orders us to revenge our wrongs. He will direct our arms and aid us. Throw away the symbol of the God of the whites, who has so often caused us to weep, and listen to the voice of liberty, which speaks in the hearts of us all. The great Bookman, as he encourages people to fight. And imagine, brothers and sisters, the African Union has recognized Israel as an observer and has given them observer status. And the same African Union refused to make Haiti a member state of the African Union. Look at these things and see if these people are serious. We must blood fire them without reservation. You can't make Haiti a member, but you make Israel. Israel, the same Israelis who dumped the blood of Africans, who took our blood and dumped it publicly, you make them observer status at the African Union. And Haiti, who wanted to be a member, you refuse them. Stand up in this fight, brothers and sisters, and know our enemies. Paval, who was killed recently, and the director of public prosecution in Haiti has ordered that the present prime minister should be charged for that murder because they have recordings where the present prime minister called the person who was the mastermind behind that murder twice after the president was killed. And the present prime minister turned around and fired the prosecution who ordered that he be charged. We will watch the situation in Haiti and support the people of Haiti.
As usual, in police room 619. Oh, when I try to sleep at night, I can only dream and pray that outside
you only one other day. Oh, you can blow out a candle, but you can't blow out a fire. Once the flame begins to catch, all the wind will blow it higher. Oh, be cool, be cool,
In 1969, Carlos Marigila. Carlos Marigila. Marigila is spelled Marighela. Carlos Marigila led his organization, the ALN. And they kidnapped the United States ambassador to Brazil in 1969. And when they kidnapped him, they demanded the release of 15 of their comrades that were in jail. The 15 brothers were released, but America was so incensed by this act that a few weeks later, Carlos Marigila and the revolutionaries in Brazil, a few weeks later, they shot and killed him. Brazil has had a turbulent time, brothers and sisters. They oppress and treat Black people worse than what you see in the United States. So there are times when brothers will have to fight. We're going to play now. We had to play that Biko to set the stage for you to hear Solomon Malango, a 19-year-old who stood before a court. He was killed on the 6th of April, 1979. That was the date he was executed. But listen to the words of a 19-year-old standing before the pillars of white justice and declaring himself.
You could tell the court before pronouncement of your sentence.
All we want is freedom. That's all we want. Freedom. Freedom for children to learn.
freedom for men to work, for mothers to love, for a nation to grow. That's what we want. Equality. For everyone. You see, I am just one of many. A foot soldier. There will be many, many more to follow. So, there is no court of law, no police force, no army that will stop the tide of revolution from turning. There is no punishment that you can lay out in this court. No law, no government can pass that will kill the will of the people. Because we will fight. We will continue to fight until all our people are free. And maybe we can even free you from yourselves. So you can hate us, degrade us, torture us, and kill us. But we will fight. And we will be free. One day, we will be free. Mother! Amanda! Where to?
Solomon Kalushi Mashango. You are hereby sentenced to death. You will be taken to Pretoria Central Prison on a date to be set, and you will be hanged by your neck until you die.
The crying you hear was of his mother and another black sister. Because they had only allowed that day, they only allowed those two black persons in the court. So one was his mother. But for a 19-year-old to look these white judges in the face and in their white citadel, their courthouse, and tell them, no courthouse, no law, no police, nothing will stop the march of freedom. This was said in 1979, brothers and sisters, by a 19-year-old youth who stood before them. He never begged for his life. He never begged for a chance. He stood on his principles. He fought as a warrior, and he made up his mind as a warrior. 19-year-old. So similarly, a 19-year-old here, Queen Nzinga Candice, who stood up with her dignity and was defied. I'm going to play it again because I want you all to understand that if you are serious about the struggle, this must be the extent that you are prepared to go. If you're not prepared to go that way, don't start. When you hear Mitzi Mitchell tonight stand the way she stand, and so many of you men are so chickens. You see other people working, planning organization, planning things, and all you can do is find fault. and you go on the radio and all these things and you criticize and find fault. You never yet organize or plan anything. You never came and support and stood up. And if the MCs call somebody else before you, you go around the corner and nenge and disturb the gathering. That's what some of you do. You don't stand up like Solomon Malongo and talk to them and tell them where we stand as man. No, you go like little picnics round the corner and grumble and then come on radio. You're an event which is kept, and you're like a 5 minutes of disturbance, 95 minutes of 95% was great in honor of solidarity with Nzinga Candace King. And what we have on the radio is your little idiotic behavior being portrayed. But that can only happen because we have persons who are of like mind. But stay strong, my people. You stay strong. We're going to play Solomon Malongo again. This is the same young man who said, "My blood will nourish the tree which will bear fruits of freedom. Tell my people that I love them and that they must continue the struggle. Do not worry about me, but about those who are suffering." On the 6th of April, 1979, that's when this young man was hanged.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
All we want is freedom.
Is there something you could tell the court before pronouncement of your sentence?
All we want is freedom. That's all we want. Freedom. Freedom for children to learn. Freedom for men to work. For mothers to love. For a nation to grow. That's all we want. Equality. For everyone. You see, I am just one of many. A foot soldier. There will be many, many more to follow. So, there is no court of law, no police force, no army that will stop the tide of revolution from turning. There is no punishment that you can lay out in this court. No law, no government can pass that will kill the will of the people. Because we will fight. We will continue to fight until all our people are free. And maybe we can even free you from yourself. So you can hate us, degrade us, torture us, and kill us, but we will fight. And we will be free. One day, we will be free. Mother! Amanda! Where to?
Solomon Kalushi Mashango, You are hereby sentenced to death. You will be taken to Pretoria Central Prison on a date to be set, and you will be hanged by your neck until you die.
Yeah, but remember the 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So let's go straight to that after this.
Yes.
And then this.
All right.
Which number?
Number 1. Yes, brothers and sisters. We're going to take a station break now. Soon come forward.
Sept FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening. Out of Kings Magazine, we present to you the artist, the African Sled, with the single, I'll Be Ready. For more information, call 765-409-9346 or 765-421-7991. Are you ready? The African Sled gives you music with a powerful edge.
Some people stand in the darkness, afraid to step into the light. Some people need to have somebody when the edge of surrender is inside. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. I'm always ready, I won't let you out of my sight. I'll be ready whenever you feel. I'll be ready forever and always. I'm always here. Unless we all have the power, but sometimes it's so hard to see. But instinct is stronger than reason. It's just human nature to me. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm always ready, I won't let you out of my sight. I'll be ready whenever you feel. I'll be ready forever and always. I'm always here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm always ready, I won't let you out of my sight. I'll be ready whenever you feel. I'll be ready forever and always. I'm always here. Forever and always. I'm always here. Forever and always. I'm always here. Forever and always. I'll be here for you. I'm always here. Forever and always. I'm always here. I'll be here. Forever and always. I'm always here. forever and always. I'm always here, just call me forever and always, forever and always, forever and always, forever and always,
Bro, Mix, do this.
Right. That's African sledge. The African sledge, as he refers to himself. That's the brother. He has a unique voice, very powerful. Has that seriousness about it. And that's one of his other songs. We have played that one quite a number of times. His most famous one is, of course, the Leonard Howell, which he has done great justice to. And as we move forward. Yes, brothers and sisters, that's the African sledge there. Continuing with our program. Last week I referred to the book Rastafari in the 21st Century by Brother Priest Dougie Smith and I Jabulani Tafari. I'll point out that they just sent me one copy. I haven't really gotten into it yet. I start reading it, but I don't gone too far yet. But they only send me one copy. So those who have called to ask, you know, how much for it and what, I don't have all of that yet, and so forth. So I think it just come off the press. So in time to come, I'm certain they'll send a good amount to Jamaica. There's a section in the contents where they write, tribute to the Rastafari patriarchs. And in this section now, to some of the patriarchs now, they have people like Shepherd, Alexander Bedwood, Joseph Nathaniel Ebert, Leonard Howell, King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, Ras Derminite, Pa Shanti, Bongo Watto, Ras Sam Brown, the teacher, Mortimer Planner, Kumi, Bongo Tawny, Ras Da Silva, Sidney Da Silva, Ras Historian, Bongo Iris Clark, Bongo Sheffan Fraser, and Jabones. Those are some of the patriarchs that they have highlighted in this book. Then they have also now a series of matriarchs. You know, patriarchs mean father, matriarchs mean mother. Tribute to the Rastafari matriarchs. And they give a definition of a matriarch. So they mention Sister Pearl Campbell, Bobo Ashanti, roll call, Nyabingi roll call, Ma Ashanti, Mama Bubbles, Nana Faraika Burhan, Mama Baby Eye, Sister Barbara Blake, and Sister Minnie. They recognize these sisters as our Rastafari matriarchs. Then they have another section here now, tribute to the Garveys. And then they mention the coming of Marcus Garvey, one God, one aim, one destiny. And they mention Amy Ashford Garvey, Amy Jakes Garvey. And they refer to an honorable family member and friend. And they have a next section here now, King Alpha and Queen Amiga. And they have a next section here now, the birth of the movement. Like I said, I've started reading it, and but I've tried to glance through most of the book, and it's a very timely one at this stage. Rastafari in the 21st century. I'll be in touch with them now to let them know that they need to send some of the books across Because if I'm mentioning and highlighting the books, persons are going to call or persons are going to come to me and wanting to know how they can get copies. Yes, we continue the struggle, brothers and sisters. So, next week, I'm going to be having a sister, Sister Mahalet. Sister Mahalet is from Ethiopia, but she's presently sojourning in the Netherlands. And she has written for her master's degree a beautiful thesis that she has sent electronically, a copy of, to us. I'm reading that also, not yet finished, but where I reach. It's a very good thesis, brothers and sisters, and I can safely say that even before I've completed it. It has to do with the return of I Rastafari to Ethiopia and how we have been treated and how generally the repatriation to Ethiopia, how it is viewed. Because many of us glorify Ethiopia. We think of Ethiopia a lot, we chant Ethiopia and so on. But the reality, brothers and sisters, that there are many Ethiopians who do not consider them as relatives and as companions and part of I who were taken out and enslaved. There are many who think that they're actually better than us. And there are many who think that they're better than fellow Africans. So, this thesis, and I want to finish that so that when I speak to our sister next week, she herself is married to a Rastafari and she has children, and she feels she has a duty to agitate for change so that her children doesn't grow up feeling like outsiders, even in Ethiopia. So we'll be speaking to her. There's another brother who called me, and I plan to have him on next week. And he will speak in regard to the Honorable Marcus Garvey. I'll get his name shortly. I would also like to point out, brothers and sisters, that today, even in Ghana, there's a school named the Achimota School. Achimota spelled A-C-H-I-M-O-T-A, Achimota School in Ghana, where some of you may know a brother from Jamaica here, Raswad, and his son, 16 years old, Oniba, whose dreadlocks, is being discriminated against at the school in Ghana, in Africa. And I say all of this to say that here it is, we want to go home, we better face what is happening at home. Because at home, there are so many of those African governments that are traitors to the race. They are lackeys to the white man. They bow to the white man. And we are going to buck up some of the things that we are leaving here. We are struggling here to make changes. And as I go on, let me pause and just say, because when persons come and say that all we're doing is writing letters and we're not getting nowhere, and all we're doing is certain this and that and we're not getting nowhere, let me remind all of those who have that thinking that we're not getting nowhere. Brothers and sisters, in the 1960s, Rastafarians used to serve 18 months mandatory sentence for a spliffing. It's not guns and bombs we use to get those changes. It's letters and taking matters to court and agitating and demonstrating that brought us those changes. So you can't come and say, all they're doing writing letters and not get. You know, when people want us find fault, them just neng around the corner. No. It's the agitation that we have been doing that has brought those changes. There were times when Rastafari couldn't go no school at all with their dreadlocks. We know of Rastafarians with their dreadlocks graduating from many. There's absolutely no school, no high school now in Jamaica that you go by there and you don't see a Rastafari child with dreadlocks. It's agitation and writing and taking matters to court and so on that have brought about these changes. You can't talk foolishness about all you're doing is writing letters and not getting anywhere. No, we're getting somewhere. May take long, struggle may be long, but we have to continue the writing, the filing of cases, the agitating, the demonstration, all these things will continue because we know we'll get somewhere. But I have to mention this now with regards to Ghana. And when the mother and father met with the principal and board at the school, it was not even negotiable. Even the parents say that they would put his hair, put it in a way that put an elastic at the back and all. Them say, no, man, him have to cut him here. Him not coming in the school unless him cut him here. In Ghana, 2021, this is happening in Africa. So when we struggle like this, brothers and sisters, and the Nzinga story, which has now emerged, and we are saying to some of our other brothers and sisters who are making fuss to say we're not highlighting other issues. No. The Nzinga story has come up at a time when it's very timely, at a time when it's very important, and at a time when the world, because dreadlocks and Rastafari is seen throughout the world now as symbols of liberation. That's how they see dreadlocks now. Even some of those who are not Rastafarian, dreadlocks is seen as the power. And Jamaica, because of dreadlocks Rastafari, and my brother Russ Wayne has put it quite well, and I'll take his words when he said, Jamaica has now become a cultural superpower because of dreadlocks and Rastafari. So let us overstand our position. It's not no ordinary situation, brothers and sisters. And to see the Ghana government is taking this backward stance. I think the brethrens have taken the matter to court. I'm following up on it. I know the child is in school. I think that one of the alternatives was to put the child in another school, hoping to get through. So I will follow up on this story. Raswad is a brethren that we all know, a Jamaican brother who has gone home to Ghana. And here it is that he has gone home, and his 16-year-old son, who was born in Africa, cannot go to school because his son is dreadlock Rastafari. So I'm going to be following up on it because our struggle is not a local struggle, brothers and sisters. It's an international, it's a global, worldwide struggle. And lots of people are looking to Jamaica as to the outcome of these struggles, the outcome of the case, I keep using the word Vidal, but it's not a Vidal case. Pretty near. Yes, the outcome of that case with that little girl over there in St. Catherine's School. A lot of people are watching the outcome of that case. The appeal is coming up soon. And a lot of people are watching the Nzinga Candace case to see the outcome of this. So if Wholeness and Chang and Chuck and all of them feel that you can keep silent and it will go away, it's just warming up here. Just warming up. Just warming up. Get him on the line.
Come again, voice me.
It's like voice me.
Let me try again.
Not getting through?
No, that's voice me.
Try this one then. You try him later. Try the overseas one, this one now.
Voice me again. Let's be a voice me if you overseas one as well.
Wow, that's the universal anthem. It's the anthem of the UNIA. But Rastafarians have borrowed it over the years and have sung it at many of our functions. In fact, we generally sing it and refer to it as the Ethiopian anthem. The UNIA also sing it and refer to it as the Ethiopian anthem. So I play it in full. Very powerful anthem that has come about from the 1920s, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So, you know, we really give thanks for it, and so on. As we continue with the program. No, Mr. Patterson, we have been trying to reach you all. We're getting his voicemail. So the brother D-Meds who set it up, please, if you're listening, we have been calling and getting voicemail. Raswayne Rose. Yes. We too have been calling you, Brother Wayne, and we are getting voicemail also. So, as we draw near to the last half hour in the program now, we're going to see how we can get to these persons that we have spoken to and so on. But we know it goes some nights, persons are waiting and then they end up drop asleep and so on. African Symbol, we haven't forgotten you. And we ought to play that new song that you and Pumpkin has brought about. Yes, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yes. Yes, in the meantime, whilst we try to get these persons, let's get to our beloved sister who came and lived amongst us for a while here in Jamaica. Came from Dominica. Nelly Starr. Nelly Starr going to play a Baba Janoi. Now, Nelly Starr is from Dominica. She's no longer with us, but we want to remember her. And as we mentioned Dominica, I must also mention, which I have a copy before me, of the Dread Act, the law which was known as the Dread Act, passed in Dominica in 1974. Well, one of the authors of this act, was a man named Francis Dominica. And Francis, Mr. Francis, has a grandson who I wanted Raswayne to bring us up to date with his full name. He has a grandson also named Francis, who's a lawyer, dreadlocks, Rastafari lawyer in the Eastern Caribbean. And this younger Francis now wants to be part of the struggle. What they're doing in the Eastern Caribbean, let me tell you, because I don't know if we're going to get Brother Wayne tonight, but we're certainly going to get him eventually, is that they are recording all the atrocities that was carried out in Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, Antigua, Trinidad, and so on, against Rastafari. They are actually tabulating all of these, brothers and sisters. And they have put together a team of lawyers to put all of this together to see and to decide what action they are going to take. You know, whether individual action, whether class action, whether some form of total action, but they figure that they have to do something. And that's what Brother Wayne Rose and Priest Kalish is organizing there. One of these young lawyers now, his name is Francis. He has practiced in other islands, and his grandfather was one of those who helped to draft this Dread Act. And he feels that he has to do Rastafari work now to bring dignity to the family name. He wants to work with us so as to shelve this house of scorn that his grandfather has subjected the family to, because he grew up hearing the brothers and sisters in Dominica, hearing the rebels denouncing his grandfather as a traitor to the race. And he feels bad about it, but he understands why they call him that, because he has made it clear that his grandfather was one of those who signed on to this Dread Act and one of those who was the architect of this Dread Act. So he doesn't go and hide, neither does he try to dress up the situation and to twist history. He doesn't try and twist history to say that this was not so and try to paint his grandfather into a certain light. He doesn't do that. He just simply says he now wants to work to bring honor and to restore honor to his family's name. And Brother Wayne Rose will bring us up to date on that, because it was a brutal law, brothers and sisters, a brutal law passed in Dominica in 1974, which authorized persons they could, not just police, citizens could shoot anybody they classify as a dread. That's how they referred to Rastafarians in Dominica in the 70s. They could shoot, beat, brutalize, grab, arrest. Not just the police, the average citizen. And you don't have to be breaking the law, you don't have to do anything, that they could pick up. All because, and they classify it here in the schedule, they refer to it as a society or association of persons. That they said, there's a section here, section 11, which says, the minister may by order designate any society or association which is pursuing any act or practice mentioned in section 3 of this act, an unlawful society or association. So the minister now designated this association that he thinks he can classify as an unlawful association, and in the schedule they specifically say that society or association of persons commonly called the Dreads. Yeah. All right, we'll try pre-Scottish. There are more people.
And from this hemisphere to Ethiopia,
Try it. He's in the Caribbean, St. Lucia. All right, because you're a genius when it comes on to them things. There's a letter on my computer that I'd want to read. I can't. You get him? Yeah. Check it.
Yeah. So the document
You think there's something wrong there?
I try to call my phone and see what happens.
Yeah.
Earlier still, but I don't know what I know.
Your phone is ring.
No, we use it earlier now. But I don't know about it now.
Yeah, we call several other people.
So we're on. Them phone just off.
I
try this number again, bro. Priest.
College.
You see our document on this computer?
Yes. I don't know. I try. I can't get it open on the phone.
This is reality. Sometimes you're blind and you don't remember that out of Babylon, no one shall come. Fighting and striving to build New Jerusalem. And from this hemisphere to Ethiopia, repatriation. This man was born there. Fighting and striving to New Jerusalem. And from this hemisphere to Ethiopia, repatriation. This man was born there. Baba Janai, Baba Janai, Baba Janai,
Number 8. Yes. Right. As we continue, brothers and sisters, yes, we don't know what has happened, but we're just not getting through to some of the persons that think. So we'll continue and so on. We'll try different methods. Brothers and sisters, give thanks. Now I want to heal up Sister Odette Query. Sister Odette, oh boy, if I don't write down these things. Nana, she has been on the radio program, and wow, quite a few people had even contacted her after. I don't remember her African name. No, Sister Odette, I'll say that for the time being until I clear up all of that. Now, Sister Odette, who used to live in Botswana, and she has now provided me with some contacts in different countries in Africa. And give thanks, my sister. Thanks for wanting to strengthen the program. And so I've made contact with some of them. And so we are planning that each week we should have an African talking on our program. And Sister Odette has started us off by providing us with some contacts that we are now in touch with to speak to different places in Africa. So we have to learn to send our news direct and not hear about Africa through BBC and CNN and these places that will forever paint Africa in a derogatory light. So whilst we work on that, brothers and sisters, I want to share with you a letter that King Leopold, a letter which King Leopold sent to some colonial missionaries in Africa. You remember Leopold, the Belgium king in Belgium in Europe, and he murdered a lot of Africans. He ordered the murder of a lot of Africans in the 1880s, brothers, and 1870s, brothers and sisters. Wicked, wicked brother. Most of these European kings were wicked because they murdered lots of African people. And the facts are there. Now, Leopold was even more because they ordered the chopping off of hands, the chopping off of foot. Oh, God, inhuman. I want to read to you a letter which Leopold in Belgium sent to the colonial missionaries that were working in Africa and who were going to Africa. In other words, those who were now going with the Bible, those who were now going as missionaries, because we are supposed to be heathens, and they have to. These people come now to Christianize us. That was the aim and objective. They completely disrespected our African philosophies, our African religions, our African spirituality, and brought their own. But I want to read this letter to you all. We're the king now. When we tell you these things, sometimes you wonder, but let me tell you, let me show you where we get it from. This is Leopold now, writing to the missionaries. And this letter was found by accident, brothers and sisters. It was found a black man bought a Bible from a missionary. And this letter was in the Bible. And that is how it has come to us. This is way back from the 1930s, you know, that the person bought the Bible and found it in it. This is what Leopold says here now. He starts out, Reverends, fathers, and dear compatriot, the task that is given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much tact. Tact, T-A-C-T. You will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire, above all, Belgium interests. Your principal objective in our mission to the Congo is never to teach the niggers to know God. This they know already. They speak and submit to a Mungu, one Nzambi, one Nzakumba, and what else I don't know. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie and insult is bad. They have courage to admit it. So you are not going to teach them what they know already. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrialists, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in the way it will be best to protect your interests in that part of the world. For these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the riches that is plenty in their land, in their underground. To avoid that, they get interested in it and make you murderous competition and dream one day to overthrow you. Him said, don't get them too interested that them got get too bright and so on, and next thing you know. Your knowledge of the gospel will allow you, your knowledge of the gospel will allow you to find texts ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty. For example, like you'll find texts like, happier are the poor. Happier are the poor because they will inherit heaven. And you come with passages like, it's very difficult for the rich to enter the kingdom of God. You have to detach from them and make them disrespect everything which gives courage to affront us. You hear that, brothers and sisters? You must teach them these things, find the gospel to bring out these things, that happier are the poor because they will inherit the kingdom of God. And many black people believe in this, you know, that you have to be poor because they read this part about it is easier for a rich man to enter through the eye of a needle than to reach heaven. So black people say, well, I don't want rich then because, you know, I don't know if I go through the eye of a needle. And so we conspire with ourselves to stay in poverty whilst they reap our gold and silver. You have to detach them to disrespect everything which gives courage to affront us. I make reference to the mystic system and their war fetish, warfare protection. Let me, or sometimes this thing jump on the phone. So pardon me a little here as I try to. Jump up a little here on me. I want to read the whole thing properly. Yes. You have to detach from them and make them disrespect everything which gives courage to affront us. I make reference to their mystic system and their warfare protection, which they pretend not to want to abandon. And you must do everything in your power to make it disappear. Your action will be directed essentially to the younger ones, for they won't revolt. To the younger ones, for they won't revolt, and recommendation of the priest is contradictory to their parents' teachings. Yes, they won't revolt when the recommendation of the priest is contradictory to their parents' teachings. The children have to learn to obey what the missionary recommends. Who is the father of their soul? You must singularly insist on their total submission and obedience. Avoid developing the spirit in the schools. Read and not to reason. Right, sorry. Avoid developing the spirit in the schools. Teach the students to read and not to reason. There, dear pastors, are some of the principles that you must apply. You will find many books which will be given to you at the end of this conference. Evangelizing the niggers so that they stay forever in submission to the white colonialists, so they never revolt against the restraints they are undergoing. Recite every day. Recite to them every day. Happy are those who are weeping, because the kingdom of God is for them. So recite that to them every day. And so this letter from King Leopold II of Belgium to the colonial missionaries, in other words, keep them subjective. Read to them, but don't reason with them. And make sure, point out to them that happy are those who stay poor. And this is a letter from the King of Belgium to the missionaries. And you had similar letters like these to missionaries. We had a missionary that came to Jamaica. He was based out in St. Mary. And he made it quite clear, white man from England, named Steiner or something like that. And he made it quite clear to the other missionaries when he came. He says, use them, whip them, and always get at their backs and bellies. That was his method of dealing with our black brothers and sisters in St. Mary during the 1820s, 1830s, and so, before the enslavement was abolished. Beat them through their backs and bellies. That's how you must treat them. So the missionaries, brothers and sisters, the point I'm making, they have played a monumental role in holding back our struggles. And It's no coincidence that this day now Jamaica boasts, when you look at per capita, per size of country and per amount of people, we have one of the densest situations in the world when it comes on to church and people. Lots of churches and so forth. And this doesn't augur well for us, no, because they use the churches, all of them use the churches to keep us enslaved, to keep us down, to keep us in bondage, have us talking about, we don't want to be rich, we don't want to have this because rich man will not enter heaven. Give thanks. Time has come upon us. We give thanks for all those who join in. We want to heal all the brothers, them. We want to heal all those who are up at the Nyabingi there at Malvern at the moment. Brother IFV, brother, we want to heal up Earthquake and the other brethrens. And of course, we want to heal up Brother First Man and the Rasta Village. We want to heal all of the members of the Raga organization. Heal up Rasamin over there in St. Anne. Greetings and blessings, my brother. Sister Nani over there in Secretary for the Coral Gardens Benevolence Center. Want to heal you up. We know you all are working. I don't know, I don't get no complaint. But last week I got a lot of complaint that the brothers and sisters over in Montego Bay wasn't hearing us. I don't get no complaint this evening, so I'm hoping that people like African Symbol, Sister Nani and others are hearing us as we move to get out of here. Brother Symbol, I'm trying to play sister, but not coming up the way I want to play her song. Don't worry, I'll get it together. But give thanks, brothers and sisters, and thank all those who join in as we move out of here and so on. I'm gonna close off with Salif Keita. Salif Keita from Mali. So we're going to close off this evening. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Sister Mitzi Mitchell. Thanks a lot. We didn't get through to Kalish. I don't know what happened. We only getting voicemail. We didn't get through to Mr. Patterson, Brother Patterson, and we didn't get through to Ross Wayne Rose. We'll hopefully next week when we will try to speak with Sister Mahaleti, Sister Mahalet Ayele, the Ethiopian sister who wrote that beautiful thesis. She's presently sojourning in the Netherlands, but she plans to return to Ethiopia. Give thanks to you all as we move out of here. Yes, the Salif Keita one. Yes. Walk good. Make sure you wear your mask. But above all, keep fit. Eat right, brothers and sisters. That's one of the big ways of counteracting this COVID. Eat sensibly, eat up your vegetables, eat up your fruits. Yes, lots of fruits. It's easy to find which fruit give you vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, and just stick to that. Do your exercises, make sure you take your walks, take your jogging, walk along the beach, wash out your mouth and you gargle your throat with salt water. Do all of these things, brothers and sisters. It will make you come out of this pandemic strong. Fitness, eat your food. You know, when the thing started, I had people like Brother Amin, Sister Muntu, and so on. So we're going to have to bring them back and carry it forward. Thanks, my brother.
Long time ago.
I miss you. You tell someone get the word, man. Hey, man, you're good.
Yeah, man, I listen to you.
Yeah?
You're coming from Mandeville today.
Yeah. Come in, you know?
I listened to you last week.
Last week.
Don't follow the blood, don't follow the science.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to follow the most side. You see, Bill Gates designed this thing to get people's mind away from that him say it, you know, in the Pentagon in 2014, 2015. After the 9/11, when they meet, because they say it's the religious fanatics, it's in the name of Allah, and whatever them do, what them do. So what I'm doing now is design the vaccine thing so they can turn people's mind away. Because him say everybody, even though you might not be whatever, you have a being. You know, it's like how the Rasta man might say Selassie and we might say Jesus. But him say everybody have an inclination. So if you change the DNA, the DNA, then you will get them not to worship.
No.
So you see, all the people that take the vaccine now, you notice they become aggressive and angry. And like them coming, them it's like them get so right away start change them.
Yes, indeed.
They're thinking their minds against one another.
If you change the DNA, it must
change the DNA.
Yes.
So what going
on? Already said long time, say you have too much people in the world.
Too much people in our world. And those who are left after we kill out whatever, we have to control them. So that they don't worship their God or whatever, but then we have them. So we become gods over them.
Yeah, because when a man do things in the name of God, you know.
Yeah.
You can't stop him, you know.
Huh?
You can't stop him. You understand? You can't bribe him. You can't use money for buying. You can't use food. You can't use house and land. Because they are acting in the name of
Will you join us? Yes, indeed.
Live.
Listen every Wednesday, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
I'm a song them there again. I'm a song them there. The new one there.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
The vaccine and the rest of them. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, man. Oh, ready. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's
God rule heaven and God rule. When God moved the whole world trembled. God is better than that. 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 God rule heaven and God rule. Oh, when God moved the whole world. God is better than that. God is better than God is better than
And you are listening to Reverend Maxwell. Don't change that dial. Rev, them truly are playing. We can them like run up and down, you know.
God rule heaven and God rule. When God moved the whole mountain. God is better than that. 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 God rule heaven and God rule. Oh, when God moved the whole
But shot the man, lock down the place. 6 more weeks, Sundays, no movement.
It's announced?
Yeah?
Okay, I say.
Yeah, man, 6 weeks until the 28th of October. Every Sunday is no movement. No movement day.
On Sunday?
Sunday.
So he's up on the Monday and Tuesday?
Monday and Tuesday, yeah. So we can forget about church class.
And burials and all them things.
Yeah, same. All of them there same.
So it's not working in the city, it's not working because the day before the lockdowns, super spreaders.
Huh? Super.
And the day when it opened up, like today Wednesday.
Crazy. You finish with this?
Yes, I got it. Plug out that electricity. Is it that?
Yeah, man. So we left our own, you know, because everybody get them time. So, nobody now got after them lockdown. Yeah, for them days, all right.
Oh, you mean the business people?
Business people, them,
Yeah.
they have up until 8 o'clock every day. So, are we one definitely? Apostle.
Hey, this is Mark, and you are listening to Reverend Mark. Keep it locked.
Great speech.
Give thanks.
Great speech, man.
Give thanks.
See you on the news.
Oh, I see. Yes, man, we have to out the man. We have to out the now, man. We have to make our voice be heard, man. Who's them to tell we can't step out that? Yeah, man. Stand up now, man.
Are you to hit the rasta?
No, but I'm not my work. Him there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm panic.
Yeah, some of the time, man, yeah. Yeah, so not get as often, but you know, sometimes, yeah. So if I don't do this now, next week I'm going to find pure shell fan now.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I can't find. There's something there. I look for you. Oh, yeah. Check. God is better than man. God is better than man. Good night, and welcome to the Midnight Warfare. We are here. Oh, my very life, my very soul. Good night and welcome aboard, welcome aboard, welcome aboard. Each and every one of you. Lord have mercy. Welcome aboard the Midnight Warfare. We are here. Good night, each and every one of you. I have with me the Apostle Marshall. They call him the Bush Shot. And we're here on this Midnight Warfare. The Sledgehammer, Lick It Till the Bus, and the Bus Shot Marshall. We're going hard. Good night, sir. How are you?
I am blessed, prophet. I'm blessed.
My God, it's good to be back. Oh boy, I tell you, Wednesday is back quickly.
Yes, sir.
The time is really short.
Amen.
And we know why is that, huh?
Hallelujah.
For the elect's sake.
Yes.
Because the Lord says, if I didn't shorten the time, even the elect will be deceived.
My God.
So we're living in the shorter days.
Yes.
Of time. Welcome aboard, sir.
Yes,
we're here on the Midnight Warfare. Welcome to each and every one of you. We trust that you're listening loud and clear from anywhere in the island you are, local and international. No Pastor Boxer tonight. Boxer is getting ready to take a leave out of the nation in the light of day.
Yes.
So we're left all alone up in here. We'll take you through to you until 5 o'clock in the morning. Midnight Warfare is on. Welcome aboard. God is better than man, you know. So all those who are worried about what man is doing, we come to tell you tonight, God is better. When man failed to be man, God is still God. God is God and will always be God. He's God all by himself. Yep. Good night and welcome those who are live on YouTube. Those who are live on Best 100 FM YouTube and my YouTube. And those who are live on the radio network, we say good night and welcome aboard. We're there. Good night to you.
Matthew chapter 15.
Say me daddy no there, say me daddy no there, say me daddy no there, say me daddy no more. I say me papa is alive, say me daddy is risen. I say me daddy is alive, say me dada is. I say me daddy no there, say me daddy no there, say me daddy no there, say me daddy no more. I say me papa is alive, say me daddy is risen. I say me dada is alive.